The year was 2004. The kings of K-pop, TVXQ, were experiencing one of the biggest peaks in popularity of their entire career after completing the promotions of their #1 album, Triangle, when unexpectedly, Cassies all across the globe were hit with the news that one of the members of their favorite group was about to be replaced.
상당히 많은 팬들이 몰려들어서
조화종 직접 나왔습니다.
예.
This is the story of Seryun Sejun, the guy who was bashed out of TVXQ by fans before even joining. It all started following the release of the storybook TVXQ Special Photo Essay in LA on November 19th. Aside from pictures, the storybook also had a dissertation explaining how TVXQ was formed, with the title About TVXQ. The parts that stood out the most for fans read, originally, we, the members of TVXQ, were trained as members of 3 to 4 different teams at the SM Academy, and one lead vocalist from each team was selected to form the Dream Team, the precursor to TVXQ. We were formed with 5 members, Jaejoong, Changmin, Junsu, Yunho, and Yoochun, and are actively promoting as TVXQ, receiving much love from all of you. Now, we are preparing a project to show a new side of ourselves as well as group activities. We can do solo activities where each member can fully display their charms, or we can form a team with our friends, Hyukjae, Sungmin, Kichol, Changwon, Kibum, and Shiwon, who are currently training hard and waiting for our debut day. And in order to become a group that will make a name for itself in all of Asia, including our country and even the world, we plan to do global activities including all of Asia, including China, Japan, and Korea. When we are active in China, we also plan to reinforce Chinese members. This led Cassies to complete shock, as the text looked like an announcement that members of TVXQ were going solo and that the group had a rotational system where members would eventually leave and be replaced by new ones. The storybook also contained pictures of different formations of TVXQ prior to their debut, when SM was still deciding on the group's lineup. From all the pictures, one that showed a trainee with all members who debuted except for Jaejoong sparked intrigue and started to be spread across the internet, giving start to the rumor that Jaejoong was the one being replaced by a Chinese trainee. As in the storybook, they talked about plans to reinforce Chinese members. A fan also made a post claiming that she saw the group at an airport and reported that Jaejoong was looking very sad. The post gained attention within the fan base as well as the picture. As this was 20 years ago, anything that was posted online was treated with full credibility, so the fan post added even more fuel to the rumor, making fans speculate that Jaejoong was sad because he was about to leave the group. But he was not the only one who was said to be replaced. And to start explaining why, we will have to go back to 2002, before TVXQ had even debuted. For the fans who were following their debut, the rumor of TVXQ being a project group wasn't unheard of. Shortly after people learned about SM's new boy group, talks that replacements within its lineup were passed around the K-pop community. Over time, the rumor was dismissed, but the storybook felt like a confirmation and brought the matter back to light, now on a much larger scale. Apparently, the gossip started because of something we only learned about 8 years later, during the legal battle between JYJ and SM, that by the way was covered in detail previously on the channel. The link will be in the description of this video. An employee of SM stated that the member Yunho was really removed from the group in 2002, because his father refused to sign the contract with SM, as he didn't agree with its length. But Jaejoong and Junsu fought the company's decision of pulling Yunho off the team and re-obtained his place on the group. So it seems that it was from this incident that the original rumor arose and led to the second one. After TVXQ had already debuted, a rumor that Changmin was going to be replaced by a member called Seryun Sejun, supposedly for being the least popular of the group, started to be spread. It started in 2004 as well, but months prior to the storybook release. Despite despising him, nobody knew who Seryun Sejun was, as his name seemingly just popped out of nowhere. After the storybook, fans pieced everything together, and came to the conclusion that Seryun Sejun was a Chinese member because of the dissertation, and the trainee who appeared in the photo, Jaejoong, is not in. Despite the fact that TVXQ had debuted less than a year prior, Cassie's had already become emotionally attached to the 5 members. I think it's important to point out that the fandom had a reputation of being a bit too obsessed about the boys. Pretty much like nowadays, fans of BTS are famous for tending to go overboard to protect their idols. Fans of TVXQ had the same fame. It's also important to point out that of course not all fans of TVXQ nor BTS were or are like that. But as I just said, that was their reputation back then. So for Cassie's, the thought of OT5 being separated was inconceivable.
영원할 거죠?
Following the escalation of the rumors, TVXQ's homepage bulletin board was filled with complaints from fans, with one in particular writing, "This is really ridiculous. I didn't know it would be like this. In fact, I knew about this since their debut, but I thought it was all just a rumor." A website called only5tvxq.com that became very popular was created with the intention of emphasizing that fans didn't want any changes. As they used to repeat over and over again, TVXQ is only 5. This phrase became the fans' mantra at the time, as well as 5 minus 1 equals 0, and Seryun Sejun, please disappear. The fandom severely attacked and even threatened SM and the supposed new member. An official anti-cafe for him was created, being filled with discrimination against Chinese people and fake stories. It achieved more than 1,600 members. Another notorious cafe had the name Wheelchair Completion Ceremony, implying that its members planned to leave Seryun Sejun in a wheelchair. It got so big that fans even declared a boycott against brands that were related to TVXQ and announced protests in front of the SM building. A famous fan club of the group made a statement that read, "We do not recognize any other members as TVXQ other than Yunho, Changmin, Junsu, Jaejoong, and Yoochun. We strongly oppose the rotation system that recruits other members, which is embarrassing to even mention and hard to understand. We will respond with a strong response such as a boycott of all albums/music released by SM, candlelight protests, and media publicity." As the situation escalated overnight, a manager of SM had to release a statement denying the rumors on November 20th, explaining, "The team that is currently training is a completely different team that has nothing to do with TVXQ, and they will be promoting under a new name early next year." You would think that the statement would resolve everything, but the next day, all of a sudden, fans were met with screen caps of Yoochun crying during a performance on Inkigayo that aired on the afternoon of that same day. The screen caps were spread all over the internet and made the rumors of member changes that at this point had already expanded into a supposed disbandment not only come back with full strength, but also grow even more, reaching a lot of international fans who were not even aware of everything that was going on. The reason to that is because fans believed that Yoochun cried because the TVXQ we knew was about to come to an end. After watching the performance, fans also felt like all members looked sad. Even fans of other artists such as of Shinhwa, Fin KL, and Rain, who were often seen beefing with fans of TVXQ, expressed their support towards them, leaving messages telling them to stay strong. Still on the very same day, Yoochun talked about the performance and explained, "I was so absorbed in the song that I cried without realizing it." So adding to the rumors that had already reached high levels, international fans learning about the situation late, along with the screen caps, to the panic of all fans after seeing their idol crying. Resulted in an even bigger mess, making SM have to come forward again and declare, "As you are mistakenly assuming, we never mentioned disbandment anywhere in the text. We hope you understand the text as it is. TVXQ is simply informing you of their future plans to show a variety of activities, different from their previous group activities. TVXQ will continue to actively promote with you. The company asked for the controversy to be put to rest but did not mention anything about the supposed member rotation, which instead of making the situation better, made it worse as it caused even more suspicion. Even the members themselves had to deny the rumors. There will be no member changes in TVXQ. However, we only revealed in the storybook our future plans for the members to do other projects while continuing our promotions. We hope there is no misunderstanding, the group communicated. On the 23rd, Yunho said in an interview, "There are various rumors, but I think there were misunderstandings. There will be no disbandment or member changes. We will continue to be together forever." On the same day, the website TVXQ Project Opposition Alliance, that was founded the day prior, crashed thanks to the amount of visitors trying to access the signature campaign against the lineup changes, in which more than 16,000 fans participated. At the same time, even the members themselves were directly denying everything. The rumors had already left the online and fan communities and reached the general public. Several reports about the topic were being made online as well as in newspapers, which contributed to many fans not letting their guard down, continuing to believe and spread the stories. On the 26th, the Asia Song Festival was held. TVXQ was one of the performers of the night, and their fans appeared holding yellow signs with the names of the 5 members, as well as with the words, "Only you are TVXQ." They held up the signs towards the press, and also prepared a large placard that read, "TVXQ is the most beautiful when they are 5. As the situation got completely out of control, the group had to hold an impromptu press conference on that same day on a dark sidewalk, so that they could finally put an end to this mess.
그거 절대 아니고요. 동바싱이는 이게 5명이고 저희가 또 아시아를 또 타겟으로 하는 그룹이잖아요. 그래서 중국에서만 멤버 저희 5명은 절대 바뀌지 않고 멤버 1명 정도로 다 보강하는 식으로 해가지고 6명이서 중국에서만 할 것 같고요. 일본이나 한국은 저희 5명이서 무조건 동방식 앨범은 저희 5명이서만 영원히.
As Junsu revealed, maybe a 6th member would join them during activities in China, but most likely due to the fans' reaction, this never happened. However, SM would later on use the strategy with a group that was yet to debut. Yunho explained the Inkigayo incident, saying that they were all touched because of the fans in the audience, who were holding signs expressing that TVXQ was only 5.
예전에 홈페이지에서 말씀드렸잖아요. 저희가 한 말만 믿어달라고 하셨잖아요. 그러니까 저희가 지금 그 결론을 여기서 지금 말씀드리는 거고, 그 결론은 저희 5명이서 끝까지 동방신기로 남는다는 거고, 뭐 멤버 체인지나 뭐 그런 일들은 절대 없을 거라고. 루머를 절대 믿지 마세요. 저희들이 입 밖으로 말하기 전까지는 절대 믿지 마십시오. 아셨죠? 네. 동방신기 여러분들한테 함께 촬영 마무리 계속할 거고요. 저희 도와주실 거죠? 네, 고맙습니다. 네.
The press conference was reported on Mnet News. So following its helding and continuity in activities of TVXQ, Cassie's eventually let the rumor go once and for all. After all, you're probably wondering, who is this guy who caused so much chaos in such a short period of time? Turns out, Seryun Sejun, the guy who made Cassie's lose sleep, never existed. It is not known why of the Sejun, but apparently Seryun emerged because it was the stage name that Changmin was supposed to have at first. The face that was attached to him was of none other than Siwon, who a year later was formally introduced to us as a member of Super Junior. Because of the controversy, if you searched for Seryun Sejun on the website Daum, Siwon would come up. The story led to an alleged response from him. According to the rumors heard these days, there's a rumor that I'm called Seryun Sejun. This is my first time hearing this. I heard it for the first time today after finishing work. I'd gained lots of anti-fans without me knowing. It seems there are a lot of misunderstandings. Please understand. I'm not Seryun Sejun. I'm Choi Siwon. Choi Shi-won. I also heard that they said at the press conference that the TVXQ rotation rumor isn't true. I'll stop here today. One little detail in the storybook that went unnoticed among all the pandemonium is that Siwon also appeared in pictures with Jaejoong. Aside from him, other members of Super Junior appeared in the storybook as well, and I'll let you guys try to recognize them in the comments. I think that the rotation fiasco is such an interesting and telling piece of online fan culture. Seryun Sejun caused a lot of headache, but at the same time, he's marked in the history of TVXQ's fandom as one of the most memorable moments from their golden days.